Hello and welcome back. We've had a very busy evening here, and I should say that as well as the phones here in this room, we've also got another bank of phones in another part of the building. We have had a lot of calls, particularly on the rapist from Notting Hill in West London, and we've had quite a few calls too on the murder of Wendy Neil in Tunbridge Wells. And one caller thinks that they've recognised Shirley Banks's car up in Yorkshire somewhere.
Let's look first at the case of Wendy Neil. Wendy was the 25-year-old manager of a photo shop in Tunbridge Wells. One night in June, someone attacked her in her bedsit. But police were baffled by the discovery that she regularly bought antique model trains. Who they were for was a mystery. The man in charge of the case is Richard Rickson. You sound quite excited by the calls you've had tonight.
Well, yes, Nick, we've had a number of very interesting calls which we're following up at the moment. In particular, we have one call from someone in Hampshire who's found a set of keys very similar to the ones we're looking for.
These were the keys to her flat, or these are identical ones that went missing?
Yes, they are.
Now, how significant is that, do you know? Because we've had several people who think they might have seen these.
Well, yes, we're still following that up, and anybody else that has any information about those keys, we want them still to ring us. More information.
What about the trains? That's fascinating. She was buying Hornby and 00 trains, trying ones. This Fleischmann one, though, I think the one she bought was maroon. You still haven't found that?
No, I want more information about the trains. If it wasn't Wendy Neil, then I urge the caller or the customer in the bits and pieces shop to contact us tonight.
Is there a woman watching who has been buying trains regularly from a shop called Bits and Pieces in Tunbridge Wells, and they're Fleischmann ones like that? What was the motive for the attack?
Well, Wendy was very cruelly sexually assaulted. My inquiries so far have not established any other motive for the murder.
It's a horrid crime. Let's hope people will ring in and try to help. Mr. Rickson, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Sue.
But in the last hour and a half, we've had at least 80 calls with information about the man who attacked at least 8 women in the Notting Hill area of West London.
I went into the living room and tried to turn on the light. It didn't come on. Suddenly the door moved.
Who's that? I knew you. I've been watching you.
Well, WDC Carol Lorrigan, you've been taking a lot of the calls. What sort of calls have they been?
We've had an extremely good response. We've had new leads to follow up. We've had a lot of information. We've also had several women who phoned up to say that they believe they've been assaulted by this man. And I'd like to say that if there are any more women out there who are thinking about phoning, please phone us. Phone us now. We have women waiting to take your call.
Could you stress again how important it is for your case to find this man, that they do come forward?
It is vital that we catch him. We must catch him before he strikes again.
Well, Carol Lorrigan, thank you very much indeed. Let's hope there's some more calls. In fact, there's one waiting for you over there at the moment.
Thank you.
Now that armed robbery on a security guard delivering cash to Central Station in Newcastle upon Tyne. It happened just about a month ago on the morning of Thursday, September the 10th.
There's a hold up. Give me that bag, you bastard. I'm not kidding. Come on, you bastard. Give me that bag.
Right, King, you had no idea what to expect from Crimewatch. What sort of calls have you had? Encouraging?
We've had a few calls that have been very encouraging, yes. One in particular from a car hire firm in Newcastle have mentioned the first video of it, the man with the shotgun, hiring a vehicle to take him to Manchester a couple of days after the robbery itself.
So this man might have hired a car to go to Manchester. Have you had any other Manchester ties?
Yes, we've had a call from an anonymous caller in Blackburn giving us certain information with regards to a Manchester connection. I appeal to that man in Blackburn to ring me again as urgently and as soon as possible. Any
people who've seen that white Ford that was hired specifically for the robbery? There it is, E409 VSW.
It's been seen in and around the vicinity of the Central Station on the Wednesday, and that is obviously a lead we're following up as well.
Perhaps we should remind people this is a very violent crime. There's a £5,000 reward, well worth going after.
That is correct, yes. It's a violent and dangerous people we're dealing with, and the £5,000 reward from Securicorps is for information that will be treated confidentially.
I've got a number, a direct number, if anybody wants to claim that reward. 091, if you want to take this down, 091 232 8450. That's 091 232 8450. Otherwise, you can ring Newcastle Railway Station. It's the Railway Police, British Transport Police, that are looking after this crime. They're called Newcastle Central Railway Station. Ask to speak to British Transport Police Incident Room.
Well, now to the cases we covered on Incident Desk and Photocall. First of all, Helen Phelps, the robbery in Bristol, the kitchen unit factory at the Avonmouth estate. What news on that?
Well, pretty poor news, a very disappointing response. We had only 12 calls, all relating to the yellow Datsun Bluebird that had been seen parked on the estate just before the robbery itself. We desperately need information about the robber himself. We showed a video fit. He is black, he's in his mid-20s, between 6 foot and 6'2", slim. What is noticeable is that he had little bits of cloth woven into his beard, and the dreadlocks, well, they might be just a disguise.
It looks as though you've got better leads, though, on that con man from Gloucestershire.
Yes, that was an excellent response. We strongly believe we have found out who he is. One caller has reported that of being conned out of a large amount of money, and because of that, the man served a prison sentence. We've had 2 callers saying that they served time with him, so it all adds up. What can provide a better picture of this man's activities is that 4 police officers from various parts of the country have phoned in reporting that they are dealing with very similar offences. So hopefully we'll be on his trail.
And briefly on Photocall, anybody spotted the robbers on the National Westminster Bank on the North Circular Road in London?
Well, possibles. Over 12 calls on this. Many of the viewers asking to see the pictures again. Just making sure they know who they are before they commit themselves to names.
And the man who tried to rob the old lady in Castleford, West Yorkshire?
Rather sad case. Over 7 calls here at the studio. One in particular has provided valuable information about a name and address of a man living in the north of England. This ties up with what the officers know already.
That sounds hopeful. Helen, thank you.
David Hatcher, the woman who went missing, Shirley Banks, have you had any calls about her?
Well, we've had a few calls, Nick. We've had a possible sighting of the Mini in East London that went missing, but no sightings of Shirley. So, Shirley, if you are alive and well and you're watching, please call us, or anyone who knows her, call us, because as you've seen on tonight's programme, there are a lot of crimes to be cleared up, and if you're alive and well, that's all we need to know. In the case of the Derby gems that were stolen, the Blue John gems...
They were taken from several shops in Derbyshire.
That's right, several burglaries during the summer, £53,000 worth. We've had a couple of sightings of where they're on sale in the south of England, and also another one of them being on sale in Malta. Now, the company doesn't export them, so I'm quite happy to go and investigate that one myself.
What about a crime? Well, we don't know it was a crime, but it fascinated me and it was very worrying. That bicycle and all the campers' equipment found in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's a very strange case. We've had a report of a similar disappearance in Peterborough. And another report from a man who regularly apparently steals bikes and perhaps is religiously inclined and then abandons them. So there are lots of further leads to follow up on that mystery. In fact, the mystery deepens.
What about the other cases on Photocall?
Well, the pub raider, now there's good news there because that picture that we showed...
That was taken by a publican, wasn't it, with his own camera?
That's right, yes. Saw the guy actually attempting to break into the cellar. We've actually had 4 people ring up giving the same name for that chap, so I reckon he'll be getting a visit in the near future. And lastly, the Merseyside fraud. Remember, someone cashed a cheque for £12,500 and then has gradually been drawing on it. Well, we've had a call from somebody who thinks it may be an ex-neighbour, and then another call from somebody else who thinks he may have been a victim of the same person. There were requests to see the picture again, but we're hopeful.
Good. Well, as you can see, probably behind me, the calls are still coming in. Thank you, all of you who tried to give us information. That's about it, though, for this month. The lines are staying open until midnight. Do give us a ring if you've anything to add. We'll give you a list of local numbers in just a moment. Of course, you can always write to us at Crimewatch UK, BBC TV, London W12 8QT.
And we'll be back on Tuesday the 10th of November. And remember, the frightening crimes we show you on Crimewatch really are rarer than we might be forgiven for sometimes thinking. And with the phones behind us still buzzing, perhaps we can make them rarer still. Let's hope so.
Do sleep well.
Good night.
Good night.